rotation center, just kind of looking at that storm. And here is the rotating part. So I'm
almost
just going to
two
give
areas.
you all the components of this. There's Monticello, and right down here they're looking at a little tail with an inflow notch, and so the rotation would be out to the west of Highway 425. There's 133, and it looks like that's Highway 172 meandering around from Drew County off to the west into Bradley County. This storm will be moving, or it looks like the rotating part of it would be south of Monticello. I'm going to look for a little bit of hail confirmation with this. There is some hail with it out there, not really big hail, but the wind speeds there are going to be in that possibility, and the rotation part of it just to the southwest of Monticello. It's moving fairly rapidly, Zach, and you've got a track on where it's headed at this rate.
Yeah, just a ton of lighting with this storm. It's going to be moving southeast towards Lake Village eventually, not in that warning, but would be in the next one. And that's kind of the farthest area it would get in Arkansas, 10:03. And this warning goes until 10 o'clock. So it's going to be about, even though it's moving 40 miles an hour, it's going to take most of that hour to get to the Lake Village area. Probably going to outrun this polygon before 10 o'clock. So we'll see if they cancel that earlier, reissue a new one as it starts to get past. But towards Bel Air, then you have Lake Village and Dermott, I believe, 9:45, Collins, 9:34 over the next 15 to 20 minutes. But kind of look at some of that rotation. Briefly, there was a little bit of rotation back up here, but I believe this is the one that they're rotating for. We're far away from the radar. You see these purple rings. When you see those pop up, that's kind of your signal that you're at the end of the reach of good radar data. But right in here, just south Highway 133, southeast of Wilmar, is going to be your best chance for a quick spin-up tornado as it heads to Highway 35 almost. It should catch up to Highway 35 and kind of follow Highway 35 here over the next few minutes. And they said they were watching it, and it was kind of, they expected this to be a quick tornado. I don't know if that means they issued it for 50 minutes, so maybe they think they won't have to keep this around the entire time. But an update on Chico County down to the southeast. They don't believe National Weather Service in Jackson. Again, we're getting in two different offices. They believe the storm, it's dying down. The top of the clouds are starting to get lower, which usually is a weakening trend. Again, terrible radar data, but the velocity is not as strong. So they're not going to issue a tornado warning at this time for Chico County over towards Lake Village, Highway 82. That area should be okay. We'll have to watch to the north now that we have this next cell, but at least right now, very heavy rain coming in, a ton of lightning over Monticello. No tornado threat right now for Monticello. That's going to be down to the south, but just a ton of lightning showing up with this cell. Heavy rain and maybe some pea-sized hail where you start to see these darker colors. There could be some more hail that's showing up, but still decent. Just a little bit of a hook. You got winds pushing in right here, winds coming down from kind of the northwest down to the south. We'll have to watch that rotation. That appears to be where maybe the best chance for a quick tornado is going to be and going to stay. That next scan will continue to bring it closer, probably past, or it's probably past 425 by now, but right there at Highway 35 southward, I think could be a decent chance for a quick spin-up tornado. Just checking in with the National Weather Service. Yeah, they still think that other storm is weaker, and they're now closely watching this one that might eventually warrant a warning into Chico County. And we continue to see with the National Weather Service and Little Rock, they issued this latest tornado warning. They did cancel severe thunderstorm warning for Calhoun and Cleveland County. Continuous severe thunderstorm warning for Bradley and Drew County, and they still have this tornado warning for Drew County, eastward getting close Bradley County as well, as we start to see a little bit of rotation now move off to the east. Barry?
Yeah, all right. To give you an overview, the storms in eastern Arkansas just about gone. There's some rain and some lightning over from northern Monroe County off to the east, but those are not even close to severe storms anymore. So this is the last game in town right here. The storm that's moving in to Chico County, and that one isn't even, I don't even know if they're going to put a severe thunderstorm warning on that, but they could. So watch for that. And then we watch for the storm out of Drew County, which on its present trajectory would actually take it to the northern part of Chico County right here. So going from the south of Monticello, it would go down toward the Lake Village area if indeed it is still warned by then. We're starting to lose some of the instability in the atmosphere, and so I'm gonna just show you exactly what we're looking at right here. We'll stop the radar and show you the rotating part, and there certainly is something there, especially a long way from the radar site. Hard to sample though the lowest mile or so of the atmosphere, the lowest levels of the atmosphere when you're this far away from the radar site. This is the Little Rock radar. We could zoom out a little bit, but it's actually closer to the Little Rock radar than it is the Jackson, Mississippi radar, which is just a few miles farther away. But the path of that would take it down, I think, just to the south of Comento on Highway 35. It's now past 425, and it would be headed over toward Jerome. Dermot will keep you apprised. It looks like the path could go just south of there. I'm just projecting out, given that it's moving off to, to the east-southeast. But there still is, there's something there. If we can go to our other source, I just want to give you just a little bit more perspective on this. And you can see there is a notch right there and at least some wind. That's on 425 moving toward Liddell in southern Drew County. And eventually that'll move off into southeastern Drew County and the northern part of Chico County. And so that's why the National Weather Service has looked at that. Again, they're flying a little bit blind with this. They can see what's happening, and there's a new scan right there. Same thing. There is a little bit of wind toward, wind away with this storm in a relatively small area. What they can see of it is looking up, I'm going to say this is at 10,000 feet. It's actually at 9,500 feet. So yeah, almost 10,000 feet up into the atmosphere. So they're seeing the rotation up there, but they don't know if it can translate all the way down to the ground. They have chosen, given the strength of the rotation at that level, though, to go ahead and issue the tornado warning for southern Drew County. And as I look on down, the storm that was going across Ashley County, and it actually produced some trees down north of Hamburg, is near Montrose right now, and the wind field in that is not nearly as strong. And let's go to just what's happening with these storms right now. Yeah, the shape of that one headed into Chico County. Let's go to the other source if we can. The shape of that one that's in going into Chico County, not quite as pronounced as it was. The tail of it along Highway 165 there in Montrose. And then it will, so that'll be the first sign of this. If this storm continues to move, and they've reconfigured the tornado warning now to take it all the way to the southeastern part of Drew County, if it can move over this far, it'll start to get into an area that has some rainfall, has seen some rainfall. But right now, there's nothing to impede the warm, moist air coming up into it. And so that's why this thing has strengthened somewhat. I'll put it into motion for you. And there you can see the movement and then that little tail right at the bottom of. This is south, again, of Monticello right now and moving off to the east at a pretty rapid clip. So this is the last, as I said, the last game in town, the last storm that we'll be watching for the evening hours. We'll watch this one into Chico County right now, but the one that we're looking at has been, there's kind of, they've reconfigured this tornado warning too. They still have a tornado warning on this storm, but I don't think they're confident that it is producing one. But if you're in the Montrose area or anywhere in that southeastern part of Drew County, go ahead and get into that safe spot, the lowest floor of your home, the most interior part of your home. And we'll continue to watch these storms and see if we get any clues looking at the radar. And I'm going to try to look, I think, for our camera at Lake Village.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, we'll go ahead and do that. Let's go on into this storm again, and yeah, this thing has tightened up.
It looks very strong.
Yeah, it looks strong now. there's a lot of wind energy there, even at that high level. But that is such that I think that is getting to the point where we're a lot more confident, and that's east of Highway 425 in Drew County. It'll be south of Comento and 35, but there's a lot of folks that live out in that area. And I'm going to go in just a little bit closer and see if we can get any roads. That's Pleasant Grove Road, the small community of Liddell. This is east of Lacey, but Valley Junction, Prairie Road right there, and Pleasant Grove Road is right there. And so that right on top of Liddell, if there is a tornado, that's where the rotation would be. This is just a few, maybe less than a minute old, this scan, so it's probably east of there now, right on the Prairie Road area, you would assume. Get into that safe spot in your house. Again, a low floor, most interior part, and get into a small room where there are lots of walls in a small area. Those are the sturdiest parts of a structure. That one, it certainly looks more impressive than the other storm. It has the shape of a storm that could produce a tornado. When you see the storm there, and then a rotation center right back here, so it's in that little notch, and it lines up then where the velocities are showing the possibility of a tornado.
Yeah, it's not good when we're getting radar data at 10,000 feet and we see it's strong. And that's not an indication. Usually you would want that to look a lot weaker. Here's some arrival times. Jerome 9:42, Cosgrove 9:50, Lake Village at 9:58. And then it would still have imminence there close to 10:08, but it would quickly cross over the Mississippi River and head over into Mississippi. I think this would go more into Mississippi than it would Louisiana as it's crossing the Mississippi River, but still just a very strong rotation there. Very similar to what we saw in that other storm that then collapsed. So hopefully this is as strong as it gets and it starts to collapse, but I don't know. This one may stay strong enough all the way down through Chico County and continue to be an issue over the next probably the next 45 minutes. It's going to take it, maybe closer to an hour before it's across the river. So we'll likely see this warning. They may even, is this a new tornado warning here, Barry? Do you know? Or does
no, they took the one that was in northeastern Ashley County and they just made it a triangle rather than the square.
Okay. I mean, it's almost would cover this next storm too.
I think that's why they did it. More so just the potential path across the northeastern part of Ashley County.
Yeah, Lake Village, you're not in a tornado warning right now, but I would get close. I'd grab the kids, the pets. Be ready to jump into a bathroom, a closet, a hallway, anything that doesn't have windows. Storm shelter, basement would be great. If you don't have those, find something in your house that is away from the windows. Dermot, this may stay south. You're going to get probably some small hail, definitely a ton of lightning, definitely some wind, some heavy rain. Same thing for McGehee. I think this is going to stay the tornado threat to the south. Jerome, this is going to pass very, very close to you. Lake Village, it's on track to pass very, very close to you over the next 45 minutes or sooner. And again, once you get into those purple rings, it's really hard to see what we're talking about. But that's still just very strong. Hopefully it starts to weaken a little bit. Maybe the green's not looking as impressive as they did a few scans ago, but at this height, any bright colors usually are a good indication of a tornado trying to happen or a tornado happening. We'll check debris. That would have to be a very strong tornado for us to get debris at 9 to 10,000 feet, and nothing conclusive there. I don't see anything that would get my attention. But man, just another strong area of rotation. And we were hoping this storm would not cause another tornado warning, and it didn't. But we saw the winds to the north, and we were just watching that to see if they would start to spin. And there's something about this environment between Warren, Monticello, down towards Mississippi, where it's just a slightly better tornado environment than there's been across the rest of southern Arkansas. And this storm has now dropped south enough to tap into that. And even just looking at radar, you can just see it trying to rotate there across that area. Do you see anything happening over there on that camera, Barry?
No, not as of yet. It looks fairly quiet.
Yeah, even
still
that
cars.
next cell is probably just bringing some rain. I doubt there's any hail there in Lake Village with that first storm that we were watching that's now really collapsed. This one's looking stronger. Hopefully it starts to collapse, but
hopefully it's just look at the beginning of that loop there and where the rain was.
Yeah.
It was in the southern part of Drew County. There was a lot of rain right there. It's about to tap into that area. It's trying to sink south and gather some of the warm, moist air. But I think it will encounter cooled air within the next 10 minutes. I mean, it was pouring rain there not long ago.
I wish we had better radar data in southeastern Arkansas. That's been a problem for decades, and just no one has seemed to come up with a solution for it. But just still very strong. Just anytime with these bright colors at the distance from the radar site, it keeps your attention. And I think this will continue, and they'll probably, if that tornado warning there for Ashley County it expires in 1 minute. I almost see if they could extend that a little bit because
for just a small part of that, because it's trying to sink a little southeastward.
Yeah, and they would maybe just have to reissue it in the same spot it is now. So Portland, if your phone went off the first time, it may go off again, depending on what they decide to do. And there it is, new tornado warning. Looks like
that's the Jackson office, and so they're making it that's really a giant tornado warning for what is not a giant storm. I think it's going to be a very narrow corridor.
Yeah, this would have to jog well east for areas north of Lake Village. Lake Village, your phones are probably going off. This is going to pass very close to you, but north of Lake Village, I think you're more in the lightning, the heavy rain, and if any hail threat develops, it's going to be close. Moving at 45 miles an hour. I don't know. It's just hard to tell how far north of Lake Village that's going to be a threat.
Right.
So possible, but I would think high winds, heavy rain, and if any hail forms, Dermot would be dealing with most of that rather than any tornado threat. The tornado threat probably going to slide down through here more than it would go to the northern edge of this tornado warning. Even if you have friends and family in Greenville, Mississippi, maybe this tornado threat would stay down to the south. They're not warning this over Lake Village again, are they? Let's double check.
Well, I think they're just. No, I don't believe so. That storm is.
Yeah,
it's much.
It doesn't
weaker.
look like anything, but
no. Yeah, I don't believe that's what we're seeing. Just looking at it from the Jackson radar,
about 2 minutes ago they said still looks rather potent. So they're still focused on that second storm, the one coming out of Monticello versus anything right here. So Lake Village, the rain right now is not the problem that we're tracking. This is just heavy rain, lightning. There's might be some hail mixed in there. We can't see it, but don't want to rule that out. It's what's coming behind the downpour that's moving through right now that has the higher severe potential and definitely the higher tornado potential.
I still think, as we look at this, that it has been raining at Jerome. It's been raining in Montrose. It is raining in Lake Village. And if this storm is indeed trying to move off to the southeast, at some point it runs into air that has been cooled. It has been stabilized some. It doesn't mean that it won't be a strong storm. I just think it may struggle a little bit more. A lot of times I like to tell you where the concern is, and it's at the tail end of this storm. So it's northeastern Ashley County, Jerome. It's Lake Village, perhaps eventually Montrose, which is just north of Portland. And Dermot, you're north of the rotation. McGee, you're north of the rotation. This is this south part of this storm, and we can see that because of the severe threat there. And boy, it's really becoming difficult to see the rotating part of this storm. But where it has been is south of Comento.
Even if you look at, I've kind of had to zoom out. Based on the Little Rock radar, maybe not quite as impressive, but right there, it's still, this is the Jackson, Mississippi radar, which is far out. Still looks decent. It may be improving, maybe not as tight as it was a couple scans ago, but still when you use kind of jump between both radars, there's still enough of a concern in this radar hold that need to be in your safe spot. Hopefully it's weakening. Hopefully the next through scans fall apart, just like Barry was saying. There's already been one storm in this area. Hopefully the environment can't support two. Hopefully we'll see something, the rain, cold air, maybe an outflow boundary, something to kind of knock this storm off its stride to where the rotation does not look as good. Still not seeing much on that iDrive camera except heavy rain. Just a ton of lightning there. If we want to take that in, not Lake
coming
City.
into Lake Village?
Lake Village, yes.
Yeah. Not much traffic down there, but yeah, I think it's starting to, it's really pouring.
There'll be a lightning strike here in a few seconds. There it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, a ton of lightning with these storms. That has been it seems every storm we've had since last Thursday and Friday has just had a ton of lightning with it, and even some large hail with it, though. Some of these cells down to the south haven't had a ton of hail with it, but just a very impressive stretch of active severe weather we've been in since about Thursday when all this kind of started. This pattern looked like it would just continue all the way into the weekend, and it has into the next week. But once these storms clear the river, we should be done with severe weather. Could be some small hail down in southern Arkansas, extreme southern Arkansas tomorrow, but I don't think it'd be the same severe threat we've been dealing with yesterday and today. The environment looks much calmer for everybody tomorrow, but still could be just enough instability in extreme southern Arkansas for some small hail. The hail looks to be maybe picking back up in this cell as well. Let's see if we change radar site.
Quite a bit of hail on the up to the north of where the rotation center would be. Some
Camino, there on Arkansas Highway 35, headed towards Dermott. So, like we were saying, Dermott tornado threats passing to your south, but heavy rain, lightning, and probably some hail. That's going to be approaching quarter-sized hail, probably closer to dime size right now, but getting bigger over the next few scans, I'd bet, as this heads towards Highway 165. And continues to look like an issue.
As you're looking at that, Zach, right now, I think is a key time for this, because look at the beginning of that loop. Southeastern Drew County was covered with rain.
Yeah.
And now that storm, the tail end of that storm, what we're looking at, is in that area where it has rained heavily within really the past 45 minutes. So
Yeah.
I think this is a real key point. If we start to see this thing weaken, it will be because of the previous rainfall, I think.
Maybe a little better. It's just so I don't trust much when we get into these purple rings, because that usually means we're at the end of the radar
not
range.
yet. We can't trust it. No.
Still some bright red. The green's not as bright. But that hail core has gotten bigger, so I don't see the storm shrinking like we saw with that other one. Just looking at some other radar sources, just a ton of hail with this one. And hopefully that's the highest threat. I'll take some hail over a tornado any day, but Dermott, your hail threat's going to be increasing over the next 3 to 5 minutes, if not sooner. Jerome, you also have probably a hail threat and a tornado threat. As long as that rotation still is as pronounced as it was earlier. Montrose, this might be just to your north. It's close, though. You need to be in your tornado safe spot. In Lake Village, you definitely need to be in your tornado safe spot. And that goes for anybody from Lake Village to the Mississippi River Bridge as we start to get closer to this storm passing over into Mississippi here, probably in 30 minutes. It's 9:36. We're probably going to eat up some of the news at 10. But maybe this can get out of here before the news at 10 wraps up. Hopefully just weakens over the next 10 minutes as it runs into what's left of this downpour that's still over Lake Village. If you're in Lake Village, your phones went off and you just turned us on, this is not the problem. The heavy rain and lightning over you now. It's going to be what's to your north-northwest that is going to be the problem for hail, and also for still a high wind or a tornado threat.
All right, we continue to look at the two storms, the weak one over Lake Village and the other one that's coming out of the southeastern part of Drew County. It seems like it has taken a long time to move through Drew County, but it's moving fairly quickly, and it's the tail end. So I'm really concentrating on Jerome right there, which is barely into Drew County down to Montrose. This is the area of the storm. I wish we could be more definitive with a radar that was 20 miles from this storm, but we just don't have that. And so we do next best, which is kind of look for all the clues that we can as far as at 10,000 feet or 12,000 feet up of what kind of rotation is there. I think there is still some sort of rotation center. Let me go in just a little bit closer with the winds in here. And I'll show you from the Jackson radar, there's a little couplet of winds going toward and away from the radar site just out to the west of Jerome. I think that's a little older view than maybe the one from the Little Rock area. It's just really, our hands are kind of tied, but if we're looking at it, you would say that this area right here, that is the notch that we can see at least up at about 10,000 feet. So Jerome and everybody in southeastern Drew County, just get into that safe spot. This is going to be going through fairly quickly. The Mississippi River right over here, if it moves east-southeast, we're probably talking about another half hour at least before this is out of here. But hopefully, because of the recent rainfall, and I'm going to go back in time here and just kind of watch with me, look at 9, there's 9 o'clock. Look where the rain is. There's a lot of rain in this area. I mean, it was raining hard. And as it rains hard, it gets cooler outside. We all know that, right? Well, it'd be like pouring some cold water into a pan of boiling water. It's just gonna reduce the instability. Now, this trailing storm is now running into that area. It's just coming up on it right now. And we hope that that is something that really allows it to, it's trying to pull in warm, humid air with no cool air in it. Hopefully that disrupts that flow into this storm. And that's just, we really want to see that. But in the meantime, there's a tornado warning in effect for this part of Ashley County, for Drew County, and the northern part of Chico County. Dermot, you're to the north of this. Jerome, there's a hail core back by this as well. We look at the hail signature there, and it's just out to the west. The wind corridor, that just makes it really a lot harder to see the wind inside this storm. But it's certainly approaching the Jerome area there. And I don't know if the forward motion is slowing down or we're just, it's still moving. But that's kind of the trailing edge of this storm. This part of the storm is trying to stay strong because this part of the storm, I think, is running into that cooler air. We'll see if that indeed happens, and we'll continue to monitor the National Weather Service and what they're saying about it from both Jackson and for the Little Rock office. This will be out of the southeastern Drew County before long. But I'm going to say right in this Jerome area right here and out to the west and crossing Highway 165, which breaks off from 65 at Dermot, in that area, you've got to be into that safe spot in your house. Let's go to the other. I just want to show you just one other view of this storm, and it may look a little bit better on the other source for me. And there's right there. See that? It's something trying to wrap in at least at the mid-levels of the atmosphere around a rotation center. And so that's why I'm a little worried about Jerome. If there is a tornado, that's where it would be, and it's sinking off to the east-southeast and crossing that 165 corridor. That's probably about as good as we're going to get as far as an indication of where that rotation is, but we're going to just have to continue to watch it. And then we'll show you also just the reflectivity, just the rain part of it, and that's coming up on this area too. So we continue to watch it. It will then quickly be moving over into Chico County, which is already tornado warned, both Drew and Chico County in the KATV viewing area. Zach?
Yeah, some points of reference, as best as we can tell with this rotation. Cutoff Creek State Wildlife Management Area, Bayou Bartholomew, that area. It's going to have to cross all that before it gets to the highway there in Jerome. And the next scan should take it right over the Jerome area. Trying to look at the speed on this. I don't think it's slowed down. I think maybe the...
45 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's still moving forward. I don't know. It does seem
50 miles per hour, the Jackson's office says.
It just seems to be taking a long time to get past Highway
really does.
165.
Like 15, 20 minutes to move not very far.
And we've had some storms go 20 miles an hour, and this one seems to be, I don't know, just hanging around. But that next scan is going to be somewhere over the Jerome area. It'll be either over or maybe even just past Highway 165. So 293 needs to really keep an eye on this. Here's 278 Highway 82. This is the main highway most people take there down through Chico County as you head towards Lake Village and then you cross over to Mississippi. This is probably the popular route to the beach, I would imagine, as you try to get down to Jackson, Mississippi, and then onward towards the beach closer to Florida. So all that's to the west of that highway, but the next few scans are really going to bring it right over the Lake Village area and continue southeast. Portland probably going to pass just to the north of you. Jerome area, I think this is right overhead right now. I don't think we have to wait for the next scan. This is going to be making the lake area probably already somewhere in this vicinity east of the interstate, or excuse me, east of the highway there. With this next scan, but still, it's still pretty impressive that we have a scan like this and we're hitting the storm at 10,000 feet. You don't usually see things wrapping around like this that high up in the atmosphere. Usually it would still be some pretty noticeable rotation, but I don't know if you would get that surface wrapping look to it almost. And the hail core started to get higher. So not only is there a tornado threat now around the Jerome area, this is probably some pretty large hail, or a ton of quarter to hen-sized egg hail. This is going to be something that can do some damage. So let's take the tornado threat out of it. You don't want to be near your windows. You don't want to be outside, especially. But when you add the tornado threat to it, you really don't want to be outside. So hopefully things are okay in Jerome, but the threat is highest there. And now we'll transition to Lake Village next. Anywhere between Lake Village and Jerome really needs to keep an eye on this storm. And we'll get through some of our Facebook Live comments just to see if somebody has any reports. A lot of lightning, a lot of rain reports, but so far I have not seen through our Facebook Live any type of hey, we lost power, or we have had no damage. But this is really going to build into the Jerome. That might make sense since it was over more of some bayous and some wildlife management areas. Look at that hail core pop up. That's really impressive. Jerome, hail threat is huge with this, along with the chance. And let's check debris just to make sure that's not debris showing up. A lot of hail would change this as well. So I don't want to say this is debris. How big that hail core is would show up similar to debris, but it has been carrying it since back to northwest of Jerome. Lake Village, this is going to be on top of you next. Let's go to that highway camera if we can. That sits right about here as you're getting into Lake Village. We'll maybe be able to see power go out. I believe that's a substation right there in the background. So power's still on down to the south in Lake Village. We've got that highway sign still on there right in front of the camera. Maybe not as much lightning as I kind of expected. I know we're looking in the opposite direction of where that storm's coming through. But still, I mean, radar's showing a ton of lightning. So I think it's just we're looking a different direction than where that lightning is at the moment. But we're just going to keep an eye on this. If we start to see power going out or start to see something else, at least it's well lit in the background. Some of these cameras are hard to see at night. This one has a good vantage point there off in the distance to give us an idea of what we're going to see as this moves into Lake Village, and it should be there soon. That next scan was about where I thought it was going to be. That next scan should bring it right about here. We're about 2 or 3 scans away from the Lake Village area, so about 5 minutes if it's still moving at about 50 miles an hour. However long it takes you to drive from Jerome to Lake Village, unless you just really speed, that's about how long it's going to take this storm to jump across several of these highways and then head towards the Lake Village area, with this tornado warning continuing for just a little bit longer. I believe this tornado warning went till 10 o'clock, or did they... 43 minutes left, so no, it goes well past 10 o'clock. Another 10:30 would be the time we expect this tornado warning to expire. And right now, I haven't seen anything about them canceling it early. I imagine they would not. I think it's just too strong for them to just take that chance that maybe it's flattening out a little bit. Maybe it's more of a straight line wind threat. But it looks like they're going to continue this for a while, and that's probably the smart thing to do.
The hail is really impressive. In fact, the hail core has grown really a whole lot around Jerome.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
it's going to be big hail, I would think.
At least golf ball sized.
At very least, I think, right. We're getting reports in Dermot of there is dime-sized hail in Dermot, but that's up to the north.
Right, they're on the edge of that hail core.
Yeah, the core is more down here, and I'll be able to show it to you maybe a little bit better with the hail product here. But yeah, you can see it moving into the Jerome area. The rotating part, I think, would be just out in advance of that, so it's kind of on the back side of the storm. And if we're looking to see how large that is, let's see. Golf ball sized hail, yes. So as we might have imagined there. Let's take a look then at the wind field inside this storm as it moves, and there's still this rotating part of it. That's the Little Rock radar. This is the Jackson, Mississippi radar, and so it's out to the east of Jerome right there, crossing Highway 165, not very far then on over to Lake Village with the storm. Radar-wise, yeah, we're seeing that those very, very strong returns. That's the hail core within this, and then the notch out in advance of it, there's Highway 82. It goes from Montrose to Lake Village. The tornado warning is in effect until 10:30, but the eastern extent of it is over into Mississippi, so it'll be probably, yeah, I think it should be to the Mississippi River before 10:30. I think we will, in all likelihood, be on the air at the beginning of our 10 o'clock newscast. So for those of you up in the newsroom, I think we'll be going into our 10 o'clock newscast, and at some point, hopefully we can break. Once this is gone, it's gone, and we'll be able to bring you the news of the day as well as a forecast of cooler air coming back in and quieter conditions. We don't have any great severe weather threat for the foreseeable future, but maybe some rain chances, just rain. And that's good. We still need the rainfall. Let's go to our other source if we can, and I want to just show you just what I'm kind of seeing with this. The hail core over Jerome, indicating a 2-inch hail size there, and then this little notch, even from a long way out. That's what we're probably the most concerned about right now. I'll see if we can see any velocity product on there that is worth showing. It just seems like it stays in the same spot, just very near Jerome. And I know we're getting new scans every few minutes, but it just doesn't seem like it's moving a whole lot. But that's the area east of Jerome right now, and northwest of Lake Village. So if you're anywhere in there, go ahead and get into that safe spot in your house. Lowest floor, most interior part of your house. I will show you the hail size, indicating 2.09 inches. This is the estimate up at the top of it. So it's a big hail producer. As far as any debris signature, yeah, it'd be hard to see anything there that was something you could really count on. But it is approaching you, Lake Village, off to the west. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more and just tell you that your time for preparation for this storm has drawn to a close. Go ahead and get into your safe spot anywhere around the city, up on the north side of the city, a number of homes and businesses up there as well, and it will come sweeping on down through. And then there's Lake Chico out, a bunch of folks live out on the east side, the southeast part of town, and then the Mississippi River is over here, so it's not very far. Lake Chico being just a chute off the Mississippi River, a former channel of the Mississippi River there. So this continues to just lumber its way. I say lumber because it looks like it's going a lot slower than 50 miles per hour, but that's the indicated forward speed. And so it will be there very shortly. The next, in fact, it's really on your doorstep now because of the processing time of this. And watch out for some hail also with this storm. I think we're...
That's it. That's the only story.
That's it. This is all we have to talk about, folks. But this is why we're on the air, is to give you that advanced warning. And really, when you can see it that far in advance, it is a lot of time to get into a safe spot and get prepared. And if there is no tornado with this, fine. We erred on the side of caution, and everything's okay. If there is a tornado warning with it, you want to get to that safe spot, though, away from exterior walls and windows. Get down low as you can and into the smallest house, away from an exterior wall, or smallest room, rather, not on the outside of your house. All right, latest scan there still shows the big probability of severe hail is high. South of Jerome, northeast of Montrose. And the rotation, it's really difficult to see. This is several minutes old now, but you can see where the reflectivity is and where the rain is. And so we're just going to assume that rotating part is right about there, where there's a relative lull in the, okay, there's the new scan. And there definitely is, Zach, I think a little notch there. And I know it's a long way from the radar site, but that's the area of interest, right?
Yeah, it's still the area of interest, and National Weather Service just chimed in. In addition to the potential tornado, they're looking at significant hail, at least 2 inches, probably higher, with 75 mile per hour winds or higher. So again, this is the last storm, and it's very strong. It could be potentially one of the stronger storms of the day. Even the showers and thunderstorms across northeastern and eastern Arkansas have not been severe. We continue to see most of this come in from just this cell that's just been, it was a straight line wind threat, then it had a hail threat, now it's kind of turned into all three: tornado, hail, and wind. And we're just not going to be able to know what's going on the ground truth. If you're watching our Facebook Live or streaming our coverage, let us know if you're in this area and if you're Jerome and you just saw this storm move through. If you've got any information you can relay to us, because if we can't see it on the RDOT camera, that's still pretty bright there. New scan just came in. Lake Village, you got to be in your safe spot just in case, because I think this is going to move in pretty quick. Let's check that iDrive camera one more time. See if we can see anything. That rotation almost a little bit more to the north, and yeah, just
it's
watching it. It's
going to be coming up to it very quickly here.
We should be able, I mean, this is a little bit north of Lake Village, so we're looking back to where that rotation's probably going to pass by. Mm-hmm. So this camera is really going to give us a good idea. And you can see some of the standing water there. It's crazy. We've got standing water after talking about a drought and no rain for so long there on the side of the road. It's going to be interesting to watch this camera off in the distance. Lake Village, you got to be, I see a couple, that's an 18-wheeler. You got to be off the roads. You got to be in your tornado safe spot. We're going to find out exactly what's going on with this storm, because we're looking right back towards Lake Village, and this is going to be really close to where that rotation is going to pass by. Hopefully not a tornado. Still radar indicated, it's not a confirmed tornado. No one else in the county has reported a tornado or seen a tornado, but still just very impressive rotation. Definitely wind and hail. If there's not a tornado, there's going to be damage from hailstones. As this passes by, looking at radar, we continue to see just some really bright, concerning colors. Not necessarily a confirmed tornado or anything. Move this a little bit more. You can see that even when we jump between radars, no matter which radar we're looking at, things are spinning around and trying to spin around. They're now past Highway 144. So the camera sits right up here. Looks back down towards Lake Village. So it's going to be very close. We're going to see if the winds pick up. We're going to see if hail is large enough that we can see it on camera. But this is about 20 minutes at the most, I think, from crossing over the Mississippi River. I don't think it's going to get much more south than Lake Village. So if you're on 82 or 65 down here, you might be okay, but you need to be in your tornado safe spot. This should go very close to Lake Village, cross 82 again near the Mississippi River Bridge, and then cross over. So if we can get back to that camera, we're going to spend a lot of time on this this RDOT camera. I think it's more valuable than radar data.
This is what we need because it's going to show the lightning intensity. It's going to show, I think the hail core is just back behind, but what we'll be looking for is if power remains on in the distance. You can see the lights of the city there. I wish we could turn it just to, now.
Now I was worried we might lose it as that storm was ramping up.
The camera, right?
Large hail with this storm. I continue to see signs that it's still going to bring in some very large hail there into the Lake Village area. That hail, latest scan had it right over 144, 293. This is now probably going almost parallel in between, right at Lake Village. Wind is going to be very strong, whether it's straight line wind or spinning winds with a tornado. This is going to be a very severe storm pushing through the Lake Village area over the next 5 minutes, and hopefully we'll be across the river and out of there with minimal damage about as fast as possible. Is that camera back? If y'all see that camera come back.
No, it's still back. I do want to show you, though, I think I see something on here. There's definitely a rotation center. This is the Jackson radar, winds going away from and coming toward the radar site, just coming on into perhaps Lake Village or just north of that. I know this is a long way from the radar site, but that's just something you would look for right there. And I'm not saying it's producing a tornado, but let's just say that it is. We err on the side of caution always. And as I'm looking, the camera is still frozen up north of Lake Village. So, we're not getting any more picture from that camera. I don't know if the wind became too strong, but there's certainly something there. There's a nose of this is going toward the Jackson, Mississippi radar site. There's something going away. You're around 90 miles away from the radar site at this point, so you're looking up. I'll tell you exactly how high, but the Jackson, Mississippi site is. I'm going to say it's around 10,000. No, it's about 8,700 feet up. So you're not seeing the lowest levels of the atmosphere. Lake Village, you got to be in your safe spot. You folks that live out on the lake, you need to be in your safe spot as well as this moves right on by. It's not going to be in the state of Arkansas very much longer, as the Mississippi River is just over to the east there, but it's within our state right now. And so we're saying that although everybody's weary of severe weather, we're weary of just the unsettled nature of this, but we've got a little bit longer to go. And if we can get this next scan coming in, this latest scan was just a little while ago, so it'll be a second, but it's right on top. And in fact, if we go back to our other source there, I'll show you that the hail core also is moving now into Lake Village. So I think the rotating part is probably just out in advance. It's right on top of you. And now there's a hail core. If we can switch back over to that other side, it's just out to the west of town.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. Entergy map is showing power outages from roughly 144 northward. So here's Lake Village, here's the hail core, kind of right through here is where the power outages stretch. So that's where the largest hail, the highest winds, and the highest tornado threat has been passing. Not too many power outages near Jerome, but back up north, closer to Dermott, that is where the power outages really increase. So we may have lost power at that RDOT camera, which is why we can't see it, but the worst of the storm is now basically on top of Lake Village, and that goes for anybody around the Lake Village area. That is where the worst of this storm is expected to be. So we should see things improve over the next 5 minutes, but the next couple of minutes are the most dangerous. Stay away from your windows, stay in your tornado safe spot. And just make sure you're as safe as possible as you can be as this passes by in case there is a tornado on the ground with it. Still no confirmed tornado, still radar indicated. National Weather Service just said it verbatim, tornado or not, this is a very rough storm for the Lake Village area. So you don't need to play around with this one. You don't need to be outside trying to get pictures of it. Likely rain wrapped if there is anything, and very large hail that'll be falling out of the storm. Peak wind gust of 47 miles per hour at a private weather station along Arkansas 144 near the Both River. Dermot has a couple trees down. And the rotation continues to be right over Lake Village. I think that'd be the worst of the rotation as well. Is the worst of the, yeah. That's right over Lake Village.
Yeah, perhaps just right on, or maybe just on the east side of town, but everywhere if you're in that area, you've got to be.
And the next scan should take it out of Lake Village, east towards the Mississippi River, towards the state line as well, out over the lake there as it continues off to the east. So very dangerous time for Lake Village right now as we continue. The iDrive camera is still not coming back for me.
No.
Actually, it is. Power's out. If we can go to the Lake Village camera.
Oh, okay.
The camera came back. The highway sign has power, but can you expand it there? Over there on the. There you go. Thank you.
No, that's not it. I can't get it to pull back up on my source. Yeah, either that or it's obscured.
All right, we can take it now.
Yeah, let's take it if we can.
Visibility is very, very low.
Yeah.
That power is out across the road. Maybe it's.
That's the substation right there, and it has.
It may be back now. It was when I was looking at it. I could not see power there. I could even see across the highway there.
I think it's just raining so hard that you may. But yeah, I see the lights of the city off in the distance. But it would be right there, folks. That within that camera shot, if there was a tornado, it would be there, maybe on the upper left part of your screen. Obviously, it's dark and we can't see.
I don't see the trees moving too much. It's dark. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. But and again, we are north of Lake Village, so the worst of this may be down the highway a bit. But that's a rough storm, tornado or not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll keep you updated again as we move into our 10 o'clock newscast. We are within it right now, but as we stay in there, we're going to keep you updated on the progression of the storm and as it gets out of town and the power outages there. And I'm going to go back to the other my other source, and with the leading edge of this storm, if we can go back there, is now off to the east of Lake Village. Here's the river right here. So you folks that live out on the lake, I know we have a number of viewers out there. You're getting into that hail core as well. This is a wind producer, whether or not it's producing a tornado, and we certainly hope that is not the case. Hard to see the wind field at the lowest levels of the atmosphere there, but this storm had that look of it wanted to keep going, and it is keeping on going, but hopefully it at some point got a disruption of its ability to produce a tornado, and that's really, really what we're hoping for.
Got some reports out of Lake Village. Let's see. Major hail in Lake Village. The lights just went off at Lake Hall. Hailing bad in Lake Village. That's from Nancy Faulkner. Continue to see just a lot of hail reports. Have not seen any wind damage, tornado damage reports. But still just seeing a ton of reports out of that area about hail, which continues to maybe not look as, it's still pretty good. Still pretty good hail signature with this. I was hoping it weakened a little bit. Next scan will probably take it right through here, if not a little bit farther. So these updates, usually these lowest scan updates come in every once in a while, enough that we can get a better idea of what we're seeing. The wind signature still there, still seeing some rotation, but the hail is kind of what we've been hearing a lot about from those of you in Lake Village. Let's check on Dermot. I saw a few people concerned about Dermot. The hail should have been smaller. I don't know how big it had gotten, but the wind threat, the severe threat's over. The storm has passed you. It's Lake Village north and northeast, really east now of Lake Village.
I think there was some small hail, and I think I saw a report of some minor wind damage there, but that was north of the core of the storm.
Yeah. So I just had a few people wondering about up there. I think you were on the edge of the worst of it. You may have not seen the worst, and there probably was some wind, maybe some damage there, but I think the worst of it passed to the south where we were talking about that rotation. The RDOT camera, still a ton of lighting. Power appears to be partially back on. It's a little bit brighter than it was when I first looked at that camera, but just continue to see a ton of lightning. The lightning with these storms has been intense. And there comes a car there from the Lake Village area, maybe a semi. So travel still possible there at the Lake Village area. Yeah, see if we can get any more reports. If you're still watching our live, thank you for the reports. Very, very helpful when we're watching these storms roll through and we don't have great radar coverage. Threat should be winding down for the Lake Village area. Still heavy rain and lightning. Not safe to be outside with all that lightning, but the worst of this should now be east of Lake Village, right over the Mississippi River bridge area. It's almost on the Greenville, Mississippi side already, where the worst of the wind and lightning and probably hail at this point is. Do you see anything, Barry?
I don't. Just the same thing, and the leading edge of it is over Lake Village. And
yeah, there's
and
a lot of power outages. Over 1,000 people out of power in the Lake Village area.
Okay, so that number was 90 just a few minutes ago. So it takes about 10 minutes to really kick in. So yeah, there have been a number, and that's going to be mostly in the Lake Village area or just to the north, maybe just out to the west of town between Jerome and Lake Village. But this is it's crossing over the river very shortly. I'm going to say in about 5 minutes of time here, we're going to stay with it just to make sure that everything is out of there, because we still have viewers out to the east of town. But then we're going to be starting Channel 7 News at 10, and we're going to see, we'll talk more about the future of our weather coming up later this week. It's a whole lot quieter, I will tell you that, but we'll get more specific on that, and even some chilly days coming up here in just a little bit. But for right now, we have to remain kind of vigilant on this storm, because the tail end of it just kind of refuses to leave. It's like this storm wants to stay in the state. It won't go anywhere, and so I'm going to continue just to watch it. We'll watch for the...
Yeah, I think the worst of this would now be over the Greenville, the Highway 82 bridge over the Mississippi River northward.
Yeah, right about
maybe
there.
The far southern, southeastern portions of Lake Chicot, I believe, could still have some of the tornado potential, but this is quickly crossing over. This should stay north of the Lakeport Plantation Museum. From the bridge into Greenville, Mississippi. That is going to be where this threat, and the hail threat almost looks like it's fallen apart a little bit, which is probably means there's a ton of hail back through here that just fell through the Lake Village area. But the worst of your winds, any rotation would now still kind of be on the Arkansas side. It's close. You look at, I don't see much down here. The worst of it still seems to be in the core of this storm that's still well to the north, near closer to and north of the bridge.
Zach, I'm going to say that we are going to say that really the worst part of the storm in the hail core is over the Mississippi River. So I think we'll end our coverage with that, because that looks like where that rotation is now crossing over. We are going to continue to look for power outages, and that number I'm fearing is going to go up for Chico County. So in just a couple of moments here, we will start our 10 o'clock news. And again, we're going to have more on the future of this storm system, others later this week, and the local news of the day. So we'll see you in just a second.
Relax and let Kroger Pickup handle your groceries. We start with the freshest items, carefully packed and loaded into your trunk. Fresh groceries your way with pickup and delivery. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
In Arkansas, home means something more. It's where families grow, where memories are made, and where quality should never be compromised.
For over 25 years, Wilson's Home Improvement has installed energy-efficient windows, siding, gutters, and roofing for thousands of Arkansas families.
Every project is crafted with care, award-winning workmanship, and exceptional customer service. We treat your home like it's our own.
At Wilson's, you'll always get the best of the best for less.
We're challenging the standard of what comes standard. With the next generation GMC Terrain Elevation. What we choose to challenge, we challenge completely. Get this low mileage lease on this 2026 GMC Terrain Elevation for around $279 per month.
See your Arkansas Select GMC dealer.
The Everett difference means we take care of our customers before, during, and after the sale. Our customers can tell you our approach to service just feels different.
I always feel very confident that they're going to take care of me.
They know it's a priority to me, so it's a priority to them.
When we bring in our vehicles for service, Everett gets us in and out.
They got everything taken care of quickly and efficiently and got me back on the road really fast.
We are grateful for the opportunity to serve. Discover the Everett difference for yourself.
The dog's in town.
Your home for dog is on the nest.
Rock and roll.
Whether in paradise.
Open the door.
Or in a junk pile.
Let's look in the trash.
Dog will hunt you down.
We just gotta keep hunting.
Nope, not in there.
I feel like I'm at an Easter egg hunt.
Where is this guy? There he is.
Get the knife. That was dramatic.
Dog the Bounty Hunter. Weekdays on the Nest.
You'll find more ways to save every day at Kroger. Right now, USDA Choice Boneless Chuck Roast is just $6.99 a pound with your digital coupon. And during online deal days, save $30 on your first online order, plus get unlimited free delivery. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
From the station that's on your side, this is Channel 7 News at 10.
Oh, good evening to you. This is Channel 7 News continuing coverage of severe weather in Arkansas. Chief Meteorologist Barry Brandt's been wall-to-wall tracking storms all evening. It feels like you have for the past 24 hours. Where do things stand right now, Barry?
We are finished.
Done,
I think. Yeah. We've had so many pockets of severe weather that kind of blew up, and we've had wind damage, and we've had even some reports of a tornado. But for now, other than those 3 counties in eastern Arkansas where there is still technically a tornado watch, the threat is over, and we have a tornado warning in just one tiny part of southeast Arkansas. And folks, that is really the part of that storm that's rotating, and the part of the storm that has the hail with it is really across the bridge there in Chico County south of Greenville. And so that storm is exiting our state, and we tracked it. There was a 77-mile-per-hour wind gust at a private station near the Lake Village area. So there's been some tremendous wind with that storm. And there's the rotating part there, the reds and the greens over on the other side. I'm just expanding it out just to show you that indeed the showers are still going on in Phillips County over there, but we're just about done with all of this. And for tonight anyway, our front will come sinking through. The storm's out in advance of it. We'll have some cooler air. Even through the day tomorrow, though, with the front just kind of slowing down, we'll have showers. Could even be a rumble of thunder somewhere in South Arkansas. It might even be a sprinkle of rain up as high as the Little Rock area. So I'm going to say south half of the state. But there's not a severe weather threat with that. So let's go through the day tomorrow. We'll start out in the upper 50s. We'll go to 68 at noon. Clouds on and off. Could be a rain shower somewhere here, even this far north tomorrow. It's not just kind of this is gone and we get no more rain, but it won't be much of a deal, and it will keep us a little bit cooler. We're at 77 right now here, rain cooled, and 69 at Monticello. And there's the mostly cloudy skies on our Middleton Heat